Welcome back to another episode of the Tit for Tat podcast. This is episode 26. In today's episode, we're going to talk about Morant being caught on live with another gun. Celtics dominating the Sixers in Game 7. The Heat and Celtics series preview. And the Suns firing Monty Smith. It's Monty Williams, my bad, not Monty Smith. First, I want to start off with, how you doing, Max? Like, how your day been?
Pretty good. Can't complain. It's nice to be home. So I just been enjoying being home.
Yeah, I just got home today. We doing the podcast so late. It's like right now at our time it's like 11:35 because I had to finish setting up my room, put my bed together, putting these lights up, get my setup ready for the summer. For when we record podcasts at home and stuff like that. So I'm excited to be back. It was a long drive, long school year too. So I'm excited to have some free time in the summer to create more content for you guys. To have more time to focus on the podcast and work throughout the summer. Just have time to chill, watch shows and stuff like that. So should be a fun summer. Trying to grow this summer a lot with the podcast. So this is just the start of something new. But we can hop into it though. One of the biggest headlines from the weekend, outside of the playoffs, NBA playoffs, out of nowhere, I woke up in the morning and Morant was on live with another gun. When I thought that wouldn't happen anymore because he not only did he after he got suspended, he basically apologized and all other stuff, saying that's not who he was. After they were eliminated in the playoffs by the Lakers, he said that part of the reason that the season went awry is because of what happened with him. So I really, believed him. I thought I didn't vouch for him initially because he's obviously a young man, not too much older than us, and also people were trying to paint a picture that he wasn't from like a poverty neighborhood, which he in fact is. So I don't like that either. So, but this time is no excuse for it. So I just want to know, like, what was your general reaction when you first saw Ja with the gun?
Yeah, I don't got much to say. It's just like, damn. That's like obviously that's tough, right? Like I don't know. As far as like what the NBA is gonna do, I have no idea. As far as what the Grizzlies are gonna do, I have no idea. Like, yeah, it's just like it's unfortunate. It's sad. It's like damn. Like after all the stuff that went down, I feel like you kind of thought that maybe like like the seriousness of the whole thing, but I guess we'll see what happens, but yeah, not much to say. It's just kind of like it's just not good. So it's not a good situation for them. It's not a good situation for a young Grizzlies team who, um, I mean, had a good year this year, right? I get they got bounced in the playoffs, but you got a pretty tough draw, right, with the 16 the Lakers. But you have a Defensive Player of the Year award guy. Desmond played well. Um, Dylan Brooks is Dylan Brooks. You can blame injuries. You had Steven Adams and Brandon Clark out in big time. Maybe they push it to 7, with the Lakers, or maybe you make something happen with the Lakers. And if you got your injuries back, like they had a pretty good year. And this does nothing but like hinder that for next year, and kind of I think has Grizzlies fans, Grizzlies execs, other players up in the air. Yeah, it's not good. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah, I think Ja has to realize like the role model he is to younger kids. People coming from nothing look up to Ja every day. So like he has to realize the impact he has on the community. He has to be better, and I feel like he shouldn't play again until he shows actual growth. I think he should be given a list of tasks he has to complete in order to step back on the basketball court. Because last time he did this, he said he was sorry. He said he wouldn't do it again. He said this isn't who he was, and he proceeded to do it again. So
What's
I
a
think
list of tasks for you? Like, what are you thinking is like
I'm talking like community
viable for him?
service, going and talk to the youth, like stuff like that. Not only is he about to lose like millions and millions of dollars from endorsements, stuff like that. He already lost $40 million because he didn't make All Pro because of the situation. So he's going to get a lot of punishment, but I think the NBA should not let him play again until he actually shows some level of growth, until he meets with the front office of the Grizzlies, the people at the front office of the NBA and stuff like that. Show some actual remorse, show some, growth, maturity. That's what we need to see from Jama right now. Right now, he needs to not only change people he hang around. He just needs someone to mentor him right now, lead him the way, like show him how to be a professional, show him how to deal with fame. That's obviously not his father. I don't think his father's going to go to a job of that because he's just out there being reckless. Like I know on his birthday, like he was at the club, like being at the club and stuff like that is not wrong. But you on live with a gun, bro, like you see somebody recording, it's insane, especially after it already happened to you. So Not the smartest thing from Ja. I think he needs to realize what the effect he had on the youth and his influence on the basketball and the youth as in general. So, not too much to say now. I just want to touch on that though, because especially being a black person, I just want to, I want to see um, all of our athletes, all of our role models uh, be role models. So, but the even bigger headline was the Celtics literally dominated the Sixers in Game 7. Um, now, Jason Tatum had struggled for most of the series. I think it was like 2 games where he had like 30 points. But this man dropped. He set the record for the most points in the Game 7 on what's today? On Sunday? I want to say yesterday. So
That's the
51
most
points in
points in a
Game
game
7.
7.
Yeah. Stephen Curry did it with 50, and he topped it with 51.
Oh,
So
I didn't know that.
the real question is though, who is it to blame the most for the Sixers loss?
First off, I just want to say I feel like Boston finally did what I thought they were gonna do the entire series, right? Like I thought they would win in 4 or 5 games, right? Just blow them out of the water. Obviously, didn't happen. They finally realized that they were the better team in Game 7, and it's a great time to realize you're the best team. Um, who's to blame in Boston? I don't know. The one person I would not blame is Tyrese Maxey. I've I think I got nothing to say against that guy. Tyrese played well in the playoffs. That was just a terrible game offensively by everyone on the team, though. Doc Rivers lost now his 10th Game 7, which I think is like 5 more than second all time, right? He's lost the most Game 7s. Um, Daryl Morey, like I don't know. There's just so many question marks. The team was not built for this deep run because there was not enough bench help on the there's not enough help on the bench. And B did not play well at all. Hard did not play well at all. Um, Obviously, what was the second half? The second half outscoring was 33-10, right? Like they couldn't get stops on defense. They were leaving
That
somebody
was only the
open. They
third
tried to.
quarter. Third
What I
quarter was
say?
like
Yeah,
that.
I thought I said 33-10 outscored.
Yeah, you said second half. It was like
Oh, my fault,
just
my
the
fault, my
third
fault.
quarter.
My
Yeah,
fault. Yeah, third quarter. Yeah, so they tried to switch it up, especially in the third quarter. Threw some doubles, left guys wide open, hit threes. Like there was some coaching errors there, but at the end of the day, I think that the person to blame for Game 7, I don't know about the whole collapse, but for Game 7 is JoJo. Very inefficient. Was a non-factor that game. He's the MVP. And if you don't want to say that it was his fault for that game, Game 6 they lost. That should have been the game they win at home. Didn't do that. Um, yeah, it's he's the MVP. He's got to be able to step up in these moments. He's been ridiculed for his career, barely, I feel like, though, but he's been ridiculed for not stepping up in the playoffs. He gets these passes, I feel like, from the league, from media, from everybody that, like, you know what I mean? I feel like Joel Embiid always gets these passes um, that other superstars don't get, like LeBron, like Giannis, like Steph. Um, yeah, and this was his year. This was his MVP. Like, if there was any time to do it, it'd be now. Didn't hit that mark. I don't know his post game thing. I get he was trying to be like we all gotta get better, but the way that it obviously came out and like I feel like reporters and media is just running with this one quote, but it's the me and James can't do this by ourselves. Like we need everyone to step up. Like that's not the way to go about it because you didn't step up. You know what I mean? It's not you and James. That game was not you and James, and right like
this is just a
Tyrese Maxey
terrible.
was the
I
leading
mean,
scorer. It was
the
like
full
and I think he
the
tried to
full quote was
he tried to
better.
make it
The full
sound
quote was
better,
better.
but yeah, but he tried to make it. What's up?
No, I'm saying the full quote was better, but like even for you to say that, it's not
Yeah,
what MVP would do. It's not what a superstar would do.
yeah,
You don't
that's
throw your teammates under the bus, especially if you don't perform yourself. So that was the main thing
he.
I got from him. That's like I don't know.
It was like in that whole thing, like he was saying, like like we all got to be better, like each one of us, like he did say, like, and I get that, right? Like you got to say that, but at the end of the day, like we saw that. Who was it? Zach Wilson and Justin Fields in the NFL, right? You saw the two opposites of it. I know we're going to different sports, but Zach Wilson got called out, right? He's like, "Oh, the defense be mad at you." He's like, "Oh, no, the defense is fine," right? Like he's basically saying this loss wasn't my fault, right? Justin Fields comes out and says, "Hey, it was like after he gave his heart and soul out, right? Hey, this is all my fault. Like I take the blame for this loss." Like those are two rookies. This is how many years he got drafted? MB got drafted in 2013, right?
No,
He's been
Embiid's been got
2015.
drafted
I think at
in
20. Am I crazy?
2015. It might have been 2015. It wasn't 2013. No, that's crazy. I think Giannis was drafted in 2013.
He was. Am I 2014? We're in split the middle.
2014.
2014. So yeah, he's been in the league now for almost 10 years, right? He's been a top player in the league now for 5, right? 4 or 5 years. MVP this year, like you gotta take some credit. You gotta take some of the blame for scoring what he scored 14, 16 points in an elimination
Yeah,
game.
15 points. Yeah, 15.
Yeah,
5, 18 shooting.
that's just brutal. Yeah, I thought 4-16. So it's inefficient, non-factor. Had more turnovers than he did assists. Had almost more turnovers than I think he did rebounds. He just didn't do much. So
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably split the blame between Doc Rivers, James Harden, and Joel Embiid. I don't think the Sixers are going to succeed with like 3 chokers on the team. Not only is Doc a choker as a coach, James Harden is a playoff choker. Joel Embiid is a playoff choker. Like Joel Embiid and James Harden both drop off significantly during the regular season in the playoffs. Both of those players are regular season players. Like we've seen Joel Embiid, he won MVP this year. Years prior, he had MVP. He was MVP candidate in years prior. But every year he gets to the playoffs, he's never had a dominant series. Like it's never one moment that we point to where Joel Embiid has been dominant in any playoff series, and that's the problem because like it seems like it's way easier to guard Joel Embiid in the playoffs when defenses lock in on you and they make him become a passer, a facilitator, and he's not very good at that. And that's what separates him like between Jokic and Embiid. He can make his Jokic make his his teammates better, and Joel Embiid can't do that. So as of right now, Joel Embiid is a fraud. I'm not gonna lie. Like until he makes actually a conference finals, he's a fraud. Like he's a fraudulent MVP. He's a fraudulent superstar. And I'm not about to keep putting Joel Embiid in my top 6, top 7 players. If every time he gets to the playoffs, he shits the bed. I'm not doing that no more, bro. I'm not doing that. So, like I had him like I want to say I had Joel Embiid like probably like 6. I gotta move him down, bro. I have to move him down. Like this is ugly, bro. It's year after year after year. He doesn't perform in the playoffs, and it's not getting any better. Like all his numbers dropped off. I think he shot like 50% from the true shooting this year. Like that's not good. He's the only superstar. He's the only player that's considered to be top 10 that hasn't made the conference finals. He's the only MVP that has never made the conference finals. Like he has to fix that right now. And I don't know what the Sixers are going to do. We're going to talk about that. I don't know what the Sixers should do this offseason because James Harden is due for a contract, and I'm not giving him a max because he's, James Harden. With James Harden, people love to talk about, oh, he pushed the Warriors 7. He pushed the Warriors 7s. Outside of that, bro, he's been terrible in the playoffs. He choked against the Spurs. He choked against. He didn't play well against Portland. Like it's so many occurrences where he did not step up in the playoffs, and this is another one. Like he was terrible in like 4 of the 7 games in this series. So James Harden is probably the most inconsistent playoff performer outside of Joel Embiid and DeMar DeRozan. So
I don't know. I gotta think about everybody. I guess it's just me. I don't even feel like a conference finals that much. Yeah, I gotta look at like the past couple of years. I don't think that a conference finals is that much to ask for. You know what I mean? Like when you look about the amount of guys who have made conference finals, like Dame Lillard the Trailblazers made a conference final. Like those Raptors teams made conference finals. The Hawks made a conference final. You know what I mean? Like these teams that are making conference finals, like it's not that much to ask for. You know what I mean? Like it's not the same thing where it's like in college basketball you got the Final Four, right? The Final Four is huge, right? Some team, if you make a Final Four, it's like it could be program changing, right? Like, oh my gosh, all these people come to my school. Like, no, like a free agent is like, oh, you made a conference final. Like, no one's like, I get it if you make it in the playoffs, that's cool, but like the conference finals, it's not even this big thing to ask for. Like, they should have made it against the Hawks 2 years ago, right? Like, they had these opportunities. I get it, right? Boston's a good team. People thought that all year, right? Boston's a good team, but you had them. You had 2 chances to send them home. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like they put themselves in a position where like they can win, but they don't. Like they don't capitalize it. So it's weird. Like I feel like a conference finals is not that much to ask for, but year in and year out, it's Boston and Miami. You know what I mean? Like those 2 franchises just get it done, I guess.
It's an even bigger indictment when you look at the players that Joel Embiid is playing with. Like some stars have the excuse like, oh, I haven't played with nobody, but Joel Embiid has had some good teams in his career. He's played with Jimmy Butler. He's played with Ben Simmons when he was actually good. That fit wasn't well, but he's played with some good players, some good teams, and he himself has been the biggest reason why they haven't made the conference finals. And I know he's been injured and stuff like that, but when you get to the playoffs, you're a superstar. You got to push through stuff like that. And if you're on the court, you have to produce. I know he played through injury this series. All credit to you. Credit to you. But if he would have played through an injury and won Game 6, he would have got all the praise. But when you also play bad, you're going to get all the slander. And if it's any slander for Joel Embiid, I'm not blinking the eye in it because I just feel like when we do these, we're gonna do a tier list player ranking stuff after the playoffs for the all the superstars, and he's gonna be very low on my totem pole. He's gonna be at the back of the top 10 for me because I'm not gonna reward you every time you get to the playoffs. You play bad. I can't keep looking past that. In previous years, I look past because he had Ben Simmons who didn't play well. Harden didn't play too well. He got last year. He got injured last year. In previous years he got an injury. Like every single playoff run he gets injured. But you got to start taking care more of your body. You got to start putting more emphasis on taking care of your body, eating right. Rehabbing and stuff like that. Like in the summer, like people got to focus more on stuff like that. And so I don't ever want to hear those Jokic and Embiid conversations ever again. That's not a conversation anymore. Jokic clears him, and it's not close anymore. Like as a player, I don't think it's close. I don't want to hear that conversation anymore.
You have him outside your top 10, right? You said
no, I don't got him outside my top 10. But we're gonna reevaluate after the playoffs. We always reevaluate after the playoffs.
I know. That's what I was just gonna say. I was just gonna ask you if you had him outside your top 10. I was gonna ask you a couple guys if you had them over him or not.
No, so I don't got him outside my top 10, but at this point, he's probably between 8 and 9 or 8 and 10. Because I'm not putting.
Would you have a guy like Devin Booker over him? You're high on Devin Booker. Would you have Devin Booker over him?
No.
Would you have LeBron over him?
Yes. I got Tatum over him too. So this is my big thing.
I think Tatum.
I'm sorry.
I think that I don't know top 3, but top 2 is Jokic and Giannis. In my opinion, I think
Tatum is like 5 or 6 at 6, 5.
I didn't say Tatum.
Oh, you said top 3?
I said top 2 is top 2. I think I'd have Giannis 1, Jokic 2. I think those are the top 2 players in the league right now. Is that fair?
Yeah, my number 1 is Jokic. My number 2 is Giannis. My number 3 is Steph Curry. My number 4 is Luka.
So you have,
I might go.
I might go over Steph.
I might go Jokic, Steph, Giannis, Luka. I might do that.
5? Is KD high?
Durant. Okay. Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I don't know. I still have Giannis 1.
Kevin Durant's my 5. Kevin.
I still have Giannis 1.
I mean, you gotta.
I don't hate on Giannis. I'm not hating on Giannis for this playoff series. I'm sorry.
I think Jokic. If Jokic wins the championship, I think he's unquestionably the best player in the league right now. I think if he wins the championship, he's the best player.
Giannis is 2 years removed from a ring.
I'm talking about current day. You talking about 2 years from?
That's what I'm saying.
And
I'm saying he's 2 years removed.
He nearly won three back-to-back MVPs. If he didn't slow up a little bit at the end, that was his reward to win. We have to recognize that. We have to recognize that his effect as an overall all-time offensive player right now is he's on all-time level of offensive player. And so, even though he has some deficiencies on defense, if he can actually overcome that.
Did you not have Giannis as your MVP?
I did.
Okay.
I'm talking about the general people.
I know general consensus.
No, general consensus had Jokic or Embiid.
If Jokic did not win it the past 2 years, he would have won it this year. I agree.
Yeah. So, I'm not gonna lie. After the Heat series and the Heat series changed a lot for me. I'm not gonna say I bumped Giannis down so much, but I got Jokic my best player in the world right now. Especially when he's showing in this playoffs. He's been the best player in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, I said that or whatever on the last pod. And I get we jump around with recency bias or not. I'm not saying that the Joel Embiid thing is recency bias because he does this every year in the playoffs. But I'm not taking this one playoff series from Giannis and saying, "Oh my," you know what I mean? I'm not taking this away from him. So
you cannot lose to AC, bro. I don't care the circumstances. I know he was out for 3 games, but you come back. What was it like? I want to say it was 2-1, right?
3.
So it was 2-1.
Game 3.
No, it was 2-1. No, he came back game 4. It was 2-1.
I don't know.
Yeah, he did.
Maybe.
He played game 1. He missed.
Yeah,
they
lost.
After that.
They lost fair and square. They lost. They had a chance.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, they might have been down a game, but they should have won the series. Yeah, I agree.
It should have been that series should have ended 4-2. When Giannis, you're the best player in the world. You're gonna against you're on a superiorly like talented team. You're supposed to win 4-2. That series should have been 4-2. Maybe went to Game 7. Like Giannis is not supposed to lose that series in what they lost in what 5?
5.
No wait. They lost in 5 games. He didn't even get one. That's it. That's
Yeah,
embarrassing. We're not doing
yeah.
that. Like
They
it's an
lost to 5 because
AC.
they went back.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
AC,
what do
bro.
you
You
mean we're
can't.
not doing that? What do you mean we're not doing that?
What you say?
What do you mean we're not doing that?
Like I'm saying, that's unacceptable. You can't be that's
So
unacceptable right
that
now.
drops him. That drops him from 1 to 3 on your list.
The job, yeah, because I got low Stephen Curry did in the playoffs too. I mean, like I feel like 1 to 3 was always close for me. Like last year I had Steph at 2. Then I had Giannis at 1, I think. I had Giannis at 1, Steph at 2, and then Jokic at 3. And it's flipped because the playoffs means a lot to me. The playoffs mean a lot to me. How you play in playoffs means a lot to me. And he lost to
That doesn't make
AC, bro.
sense. Yo, because Luka Doncic is not picking his team. Luka Doncic is not trading for his team. So at the end of the day, Luka was balling out the entire year, but he had a ass team around him.
He's
I'm
at
sorry, that
4.
team was not
Why are you
built,
mentioning him?
huh?
Why are you mentioning him?
Because I think Luka could be top 3.
Oh no, he's not. He's not. He's not better than Stephen Curry. That's
That's what I'm saying. I think Luka could be top 3.
He's not better than Stephen Curry.
Maybe.
Stephen Curry is the best point guard in the league, and he also has a case for the best player in the league. Did we not forget he just dropped 50 against the Kings? Did we not forget at times he's like the best player
The Kings
on the
are
floor?
the Kings are the worst defense. The Kings are the worst defense in the league.
They're not.
Historically a bad defense.
They played well. They played the Warriors well in some games, and also I would like to say like
I'm just saying,
even in the Lakers series, even in the Lakers series for games, he was the best player on the court for games. Like his teammates really sold him.
Game 4 is insane. I'm not gonna lie. Game 4 might have been one of the best basketball games I've seen Steph Curry play. The triple double game. I agree. I was thinking about it today. Like, I don't know. It just kept coming to me. What is the prime of Steph Curry's career? Like, what 2 years? Like, what were his prime years? If you had to pick, like MVP, 2 to 3 years.
He's not. His peak was the unanimous MVPs when they won in like 15.
I don't know if I'm crazy for saying that. Like, in my opinion, the best Steph Curry has been the past, like last year, this year. That's the best basketball I've seen him play in the playoffs these past 2 years.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like his peak though the unanimous MVPs probably.
But keep in mind though, he had a great team around him though. Like this year especially, his team was struggling. I know they want to blame that they didn't have a championship caliber team, but the way that Steph Curry's been playing basketball, it's been like I feel like Steph was just known as the scorer back then. You know what I mean? Is that fair? In 2015, 2016, he was just a shooter. He was a scorer, whatever. I'm seeing him like he is he's everything on the Warriors offense. You know what I mean?
He's done everything they need him to do. But I think Steph has always been a great passer. Steph has always been a great off-ball playmaker, making opportunities for his teams without him having the ball. And that's why I always value Stephen Curry as a high-level playmaker. Not for only what he does with the ball, but without the ball as well.
Maybe it's showing more now because his teammates aren't as good as, you know what I mean, his years back then. Clay's not having the role that he had back then. Draymond's not having the role that he had back then. You know what I mean? Like, it is really Steph's role, and he's taking advantage of it. I agree. I think Steph's definitely a top 4 player, top 5 player. But sometimes I might put Luka up there for sure. So, again, we've been too long off topic, so we got to hop into the next thing.
We got a Heat Celtics series preview. So I just want to know, first of all, like, what do you think? Who do you think is like the biggest X factor in the series for both teams?
I mean, it's easy to say just Jimmy and Tatum on both sides. I would say the biggest X factor for the Heat is Eric Spoelstra. I think having a great coach, Mazzulla has shown that, you know, sometimes he's not been the best coach in these situations, right? He hasn't been the greatest coach this year, like through the entire year, right? He's shown he's got holes in his game. He shows he has like stuff he needs to work on. Eric Spoelstra, I think if he schemes up something for their team, like he could win a game or two. I think he could, like, coaching wise, like I think like anybody from on Miami, you could have a game where Gabe Vincent goes for 25. You could have a game where Max Drew shoots the lights out. You could have a Duncan Robinson game from a couple years ago where he just shoots. But I think Eric Spoelstra, if he can put the Celtics, put Tatum in uncomfortable situations. Just whatever. I don't I like I'm not gonna say scheme, but like if he can just get the Celtics off their game and push the series to 6, 7, I think it gives them a better shot, obviously. But I think Boston needs to handle business early. I don't think they should try and let them you don't want to let them stick around. You don't want Miami just to linger there. They got to get rid of the series as fast as they can. Um, for Boston, like it's easy, but I just like I said, I think just Jason Tatum just he's got to play like how he did Game 7. I mean, you can't have him choke. He was not good in the finals last year, right? He wasn't good in
I
the
wouldn't
finals
call him
last
X
year when it
Factor though.
mattered.
I think an X Factor is the type of person that like you wouldn't just immediately go to. And so for me,
Understand?
I think
Well,
the
I
X
mean, in that case, I'll say Derek White because Derek White, when he's on, he's on. Like Malcolm Brogdon's the go-to. Like he was shooting well in Game 7. I feel like everyone expects it from Malcolm Brogdon. I've been on Derek White all year. When I see him play, when Jaylen Brown got injured, when there was a role to be filled, Derek White was playing defense. He was shooting the ball well. He was a very good player. But I guess just for X Factor, like I'm just like my Boston has to win the series. I don't know if Miami's a better team than Philadelphia, but I think no, Miami's a better team. Philadelphia has better individual players. So, like the same stuff that flew in that Philadelphia series, I don't think it's gonna fly in this series, right? So they can't have
I,
Tatum be what's up?
no, go ahead.
They can't have Tatum be inefficient in these games. You can't have Tatum score 3 points and hope that he scores 16 going into the fourth quarter. You know what I mean? It worked out great. Tatum has to play, obviously not on par with Game 7, but Tatum has to be playing well. You know what I mean? Like there's no excuse right now. Tatum went to the finals last year. I mean, on paper, you have the easiest path to the finals right now, right? You got to beat Nate seed. So Tatum's got to handle business. It's about it. Like this is their year, in my opinion. Like, if they want to do it, this is their year. You don't want teams to retool next year. Who knows what Philly and Milwaukee do? You got to get it done this year. So I guess we'll see.
For me, the X factor is Bam Adebayo for the Heat because I feel like in the Knicks series he stepped his game up offensively and defensively. If he can be a dominant offensive force, consistent 20 and 10 guy for the Heat, it's gonna be very hard for them to. It's gonna be very hard for the Celtics to beat the Heat in a series. And then for Celtics, I want to say I want to go with Jaylen Brown because just because I feel like Jimmy Butler is gonna take that matchup of defending Jason Tatum. And if that I feel like that leaves Jaylen Brown with the opportunity to really, showcase his skills in this series because I don't know what primary defender they probably have like Caleb Martin on him, and I think Caleb Martin won't be enough to stop Jaylen Brown in playoff series. He's been pretty decent, pretty consistent in this playoffs stretch. So I think for me that's Jaylen Brown. Derek White, but Derek White probably more for his defense, depending on who he's guarding. If he picks up Jimmy Butler, then I would probably have Derek White as the X factor. I like how you touched on Coach Spo though, because Coach Spo is one of the best coaches in the league. Doesn't get enough credit for what he does, and I think he's a better coach than Joe Mazzulla, so he will outcoach him. I don't know if it'll be enough for him to win. And that leads me into my next question: who do you have winning this series against the Celtics and Heat?
I'll say Boston at 6. Winning in Miami is tough, but I don't think it gets done in 5. I think Boston wins in 6. I think Jimmy can win you a game. I think maybe the not Missoula losing it, but Boston falls out of pieces for a second, and Spoelstra takes advantage, and they win another game. I think Jimmy drops whatever 40, 45 one game, and Spoelstra's able to coach you to one win. Besides that, I think Boston's got 4. Um, yeah, not much to say. I think Boston in 6.
Y'all also have Boston at 6. I've doubted the Miami Heat for the entire playoffs. I'm going to do it again. I think the Celtics are a much better team than them as far as depth, as far as star power. They also have Jimmy Butler, who's playing like a superstar in this playoffs. But I think Jason Tatum shows when it really counts, he's going to step up and have a big game. Like we just seen in Game 7, 51 points. When it really comes down to it, he may struggle a little bit, but when it comes down to it, Jason Tatum's going to put on for the Celtics. He's going to get it done. I think they win in 6 games. I think they close it out in 6. In Miami. What else can I say about that series? Yeah, I think the bench depth is gonna really be a thing. If Miami can continue to shoot lights out from three, continue to get production from Gabe Vincent, um, what's Max Strauss, Caleb Martin, Kyle Lowry, Kevin Love, then they'll make it tough. They played them tough last year, but it was a different team. They had like Victor Oladipo. Then they had Tyler Hero as well. I know Tyler Hero doesn't play well in the playoffs,
But
but they
yeah,
still had them
that's
bodies.
just
So
injuries. Tyler Hero, I think, is coming back soon though. He could be coming
yeah, he
back
is.
this series.
He'll be back in a week. So well, that was a few days ago. So it might be even earlier than that. But I think the series is gonna be interesting though. I just think the Celtics are the better team this year. I think they're going to the finals. So that's why I'm picking the Celtics in six.
I think Tyler Hero coming back, obviously for his play, but to throw Strus or to throw Gabe Vincent, probably Strus because I think Gabe Vincent starts at the one. To throw Strus to the bench is huge. You know what I mean? To help out that bench unit, just to have another shooter coming off the bench is ginormous. Like they play with their bench all year. Um, Duncan Robinson's been playing this playoffs. Cody Zeller's been getting minutes this playoffs. Like they've played deep through their bench. Um, if Tyler Hero can get back and just give him another pair of legs to get in the game, is huge. So I'll be very excited if Hero can come back.
Next up we got the Suns firing Monty Williams. Now this is pretty well. It's not surprising. I'm not gonna lie. I saw this coming. Um, do you think it was justified for the Suns to fire Monty Williams? He didn't deserve that.
Um, I, I don't know. Like I think the big takeaway for me is they chose between Monty Williams and DeAndre Ayton. We knew that there was a rift there. We knew that there was some tension between those two guys, right? I think one didn't want to play for the other, right? Monty didn't want to coach for him. He didn't want to play for Monty. So, like there was a significant level. There's a big rift, I guess, between the two. So I think they choose DeAndre Ayton. I think this means that DeAndre Ayton stays in the team for next year. Um, I don't know. I think like obviously Monty got him to the championship. I like Monty Williams a lot. He coached in OKC, with Kevin Durant there. Um, Great guy. Monty Williams, like there was some obviously you had some issues, right? There were some lapses. Obviously your past two playoff games, um, your last two playoff losses, I guess you could say, blowouts. Like there was obviously some bad times, but they did make the finals when they could. I guess the big thing is this year there are so many coaches available, right? There's so many people that like Budenholzer's available. Kenny Atkinson's been there. There's been a lot of talk. JJ Redick's got interviews, right? Like there's been a lot of names thrown around that like you could get a pretty good. You know what I mean? I feel like the coaching pool is never like this. I feel like you always get some like bottom tier names passed around. There's a lot of coaches out there. Nick Nurse is out there. You know what I mean? There's a lot of like very good coaches out there that you can get for your team. You know, so if Monty Williams wasn't cutting it, I think you could replace him. Not pretty. I guess it's not the same exact thing, but you can replace it pretty easily. So I don't hate the firing. I like they went with DeAndre Ayton. Again, we disagree on this, but I like keeping DeAndre Ayton. Obviously, Chris Paul I think is still on the chopping block, but yeah, I think they got to find a good coach with DeAndre Ayton. But I think as long as you get a guy who's cool with Booker and Durant, that's really all that matters.
I think this year was a trial run for Monty Williams. I think Matt Ish, but a new owner, that wasn't his guy. That's not who we hired. And it's coming in with a new dream regime. You want to have your guy that you hired, that you scouted, all that stuff to run your team. And I think so. He gave Monty Williams 1 year to prove it, and they got blew out by 30 against the Nuggets in Game 6. So with that, that was the end of Monty Williams. I'm not too mad at it. I think he didn't utilize his bench enough in the playoffs, and that really cost them. He played Chris Paul, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker too many long minutes, and didn't go into the bench enough, and that was his downfall. I think the what's been happening over the last 2 years was really had him on the hot seat, especially that loss to Dallas, and then following it up with a loss to the Nuggets like that. You know, I'm not mad at the firing either. I think they need a whole entire new regime over there in the Suns. You know, like leadership to install a new culture. And I saw a report that said that Kevin Durant and Devin Booker were notified before it happened, and I guess they were fine with it, but they didn't really, you know,
I
um,
think I
have too
think
much to say about it.
KD doesn't mean that much because he's only been there for a couple months. You know what I'm saying? But if D-Book's cool with it, then that says a lot because he's been there for the entire tenure of Monty. So
Yeah, and with the DeAndre Ayton thing, I don't think they're choosing DeAndre. I think he's still getting shopped. I don't know. Think that's the case. I just think they're
I
going to. They just
I
fired
think
Monty
maybe
because he didn't play. He didn't do well.
maybe he's getting chopped, but I'm not. I don't know. I think he'll be on the team come next year. I think the big issue this summer will be Chris Paul. I think DeAndre Ayton's what?
I don't know. It's like what makes you think he's gonna be on the team? Like he's clearly a problem for the team. He clearly does not want to be there. Like he doesn't seem motivated to be on the Suns at all.
So I I don't know. I think he wasn't motivated because Monty was there. But I think Chris Paul's the issue this summer. It's going to be every summer there's an issue. But Chris Paul, you address this summer. I think next summer, because right now you said it yourself. What's DeAndre Ayton's trade value? Who wants him? Right.
I've been seeing rumor
So,
him in Charlotte if they don't get Victor. I think you said that.
oh, yeah. I feel like someone
No,
said that.
actually,
Wow, that's crazy.
you said that. You
That's
said that, but
crazy.
you
Yeah,
said
no,
that,
guys.
but I
I
also saw
didn't.
it
I
on.
didn't see that rumor.
Yeah, it was on Twitter. People were talking about it.
I didn't see that.
As like a consolation prize for Wemby. I feel that's a terrible consolation prize. That's just
yeah,
so
it's not like a consolation prize, but it'd be an interesting team. No, I think like you said to yourself, what's his trade value right now? If no team's gonna offer you something for him, I get you got a lot of money locked up right now for him. But why not hire a new coach? See how this year goes, and then he's locked up for 5 years. So the worst. I mean, do you think he can really put his trade value into the dirt anymore? Like he averaged 18
yeah.
and 10. Like I don't know. I think you could ride this year out with Aiden, see if his value grows, and maybe you still trade him next year, or maybe he just works on it. But I think
Try to
why
move him at
not
the
get a
deadline.
defense? Why not get it? Yeah, it's fair. Why not get a defensive center? Hire a defensive center. I don't think you'll lure Brooke Lopez away, but if you can grab Brooke Lopez and toss him on that team, then it all works out perfectly. But
No, that would be amazing. Then putting DeAndre in at the four, but if that doesn't,
yeah,
it has to be a center that can stretch the floor. They also going to still need a point guard. Devin Booker can't run point guard, and Campaign can be a point guard. So they're going to need a point guard. I saw some stuff like
yeah.
I saw
Tyus Jones. Trade for Tyus Jones. Trade for Colin Sexton.
I saw a trade that did like CP3 for CJ McCollum. What you think about that?
I saw that. I saw a bunch of people, whatever. It was like on YouTube or something. I don't know. I don't hate it. I kind of like CP3 back in New Orleans, but
that'd be fire.
Do you really want CJ running the one for you? Like, I know he's running the one partially. He was running the one in New Orleans a little bit.
I know that seems weird, but he's improving on his playmaking. I think
he was running the one. He was running the one in New Orleans for a little bit, so he was on their depth chart as a one for a little bit. But I don't know. I think there are people you could go out and get. Tyus Jones is gonna be pretty expensive, so I don't know if you get him. But like, I don't know because I don't want Campaign. I'm trying to think of people now. I don't even know it's a free agent, like as far as backup ones, but I think any way to get the Chris Paul deal off your hands is a W. So I don't even know. Like besides New Orleans, it's not even who would want Chris Paul, but who would take his contract. You know, because OKC used to be the team. You just trade everyone to OKC and they'll take a pick from you and you're fine. OKC can be competitive now. Like they don't want to waste their money on a guy like Chris. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what you get for Chris Paul. If you can get, why would I don't even know why New Orleans did
OKC.
Yeah, OKC.
No, I saw it. I saw it. I saw it. I thought that was interesting because I think they do need like a playmaker over there in New Orleans. They got Dyson Daniels, but I don't know how high how high I am on him as far as his potential. But I don't know. New Orleans, the biggest thing for them is Zion's health, and that's the biggest thing. So, and they also need to price stay young, and CP3 is like 50 years old.
I was saying the teams in the past used to trade people to OKC. Al Horford got traded to OKC. CP3 got traded to OKC, and they just increase their value and then you leave. But OKC not trading for him. But yeah, I mean, why would you trade for? How many more years on this contract Chris Paul got left? 1, 2.
Next year he has 30 million partially, like 30 something million partially guaranteed. 2. The last one is not guaranteed.
So 2. If you're paying a guy $30 million who can't stay healthy, and your main star can't stay healthy, like Brandon Ingram had his injury concerns. Like if your entire team is injury prone, like New Orleans, I don't know, I don't like it. I feel like before Jalen Brunson went to New York, I feel like it'd be easy to say just go to New York. New York could trade for anybody, but they won't do that now. Like I don't know where he's gonna go. I think
I got an interesting question for you. Do you think Do you think Chris Paul should retire?
No. Like this
Why
year,
not?
no, because he still makes $30 million.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that that
no.
that'd be a good reason to stay, but I don't know. I think he washed.
I think
He's washed
so.
for sure.
I could maybe he goes back to the. Okay, hear me out. I don't know what the contracts work out. What you're gonna say? Both teams lose. Chris Paul for Russell Westbrook. Who says no?
Suns.
So the Suns would rather have $30 million Chris Paul. Then I don't think Russ even make that much.
No, he's not. But like, how does it help you? I don't think Russ helps him. That helps him at all. He gives him rim present, a rim like pressure. Someone can pressure the rim. Someone that get effort on defense. Someone that's not good off ball on defense though. Can't really
He,
shoot. Turnover prone. I don't think they need that over there in
I
Philly.
don't. I'm sorry. I don't need him to shoot. You have KD and Devin Booker. I let them both take 450 shots a game. I don't care.
I don't. They'll force Devin
I
Booker
need.
and they'll force
I need.
Devin Booker to play off ball more, and then I don't want him to play off ball more. I want the ball in
I
his
need
hands more.
Russ. I need Russ to pass the ball and play defense. Can he not pass the ball and play defense?
I don't want to get into Russ again. I'm pretty tired. It is 12 o'clock.
I
That's
don't
it.
hate that deal. I'm sorry. I don't hate that deal. I don't hate that deal if I'm either
I
team.
don't want to get
So
into Russ slander. I don't want to get into Russ slander. I've been called Russ
no, it's
slander.
cool.
All
It's
that
cool.
stuff.
It's cool.
I don't want to get into that because I don't even think I don't know what team. If I was like a GM, I would not trade. I would not sign Russ. I would not trade for Russ. I wouldn't nothing. He's a free agent, but I wouldn't pick him up for what. I don't know. I don't know what he brings to the team. So besides
Oh,
like
that sorry. That was one thing I saw. No, never mind. It was different. It was different. No, was it? I don't know. It was something like John Wall for Chris Paul. That was terrible. Whoever thought of
John
that was
Wall's
bad.
washed. He's done.
I didn't know.
He's
Like
done in the NBA.
the John Wall for Chris Paul thing was crazy.
The team didn't even pick him up and trade on. Did they?
No, he's a free agent, isn't he?
He might be cooked. He might be cooked for a long time. He might be done. But yeah, that was episode 26, y'all. Pretty late episode. I'm sorry it was low energy, but I think we had some good discussions. We'll be right back at it tomorrow with the draft lottery coming out. We're gonna do another NBA mock draft. We're gonna do like reacting to the lottery and stuff like that. So tomorrow's a big day for the sports world, especially basketball fans. I can't wait to see who gets Victor Wembanyama, Scoot Henderson. I can't wait to make my drafts. Dive in deeper into like the draft players. I have a series on TikTok right now where I'm doing player breakdown. So I'm gonna get that started back up tomorrow I'm actually gonna just do one tomorrow. Why not? Before the draft lottery. So follow all of our social media at the top. We about to hit 1,000 followers on TikTok. We need to hit 100 followers on Instagram. We need to go ahead and get that Twitter following up. It is abysmal right now. It's pathetic. I think we have like 8 followers and 4 of us is us. So it's pretty bad. Thank you guys for watching as always though. Max, you got anything to say before we go?
All good. See you next episode.
All right.